Hello, everybody. Welcome to Overanalyzing, where I'm going to overanalyze. Comfortable. I'm going to overanalyze just everything in the world, basically. But we're going to start off really specific because that's the point of overanalysis, to be very specific. And we're going to talk about TikTok, but we're not just going to talk about TikTok. That's for another day. We're going to talk about corecore. Yes, corecore. You might be asking yourself, what is this? What is corecore? What are you saying? You sound like an insane person. Well, I am. Corecore, that was not funny. Corecore is a TikTok trend, a hashtag, but also an art movement. Trying to answer the question of what is corecore is very simple and also impossible. So let's try and start with the simple explanation here. Corecore is a collection of short visual and audio clips used to explore a theme, an idea, an emotion, everything at once. Blah 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 blah. It's like a short video collage that connects a bunch of different clips, a bunch of different little snippets from all sorts of media, and puts them into one thing, one sort of. And the connection. These clips, it's this abstract sort of collection of clips that sometimes is like kind of about a specific idea, and other times is more so a kind of just trying to evoke the feeling of being on the internet and seeing all these random clips, seeing all these, being overwhelmed with information. And definitely like that oversaturation of media and overstimulation of media is generally a thing in all I'm not going to say all because we'll get into that, but in most of corecore there's this idea of the sort of oversaturation of the media today and of internet media specifically, and even in corecore videos that have like a more realized theme, a more like specific idea they're clearly trying to get across, there sometimes will be just random videos thrown in there that they feel random. And I think that's the point, but so corecore is very interesting to me, and I want to talk about it because I think that it is an art form. Okay, and hear me out here. I know. But also, art forms aren't necessarily smart. Okay, something being art isn't necessarily good. Okay, I think we need to get this idea. Art's not necessarily good. Art just kind of expresses something. And I think this sort of trend is something that's this corecore trend has affected me deeply, okay? And I think it's affected a lot of people deeply. I think it's affected a lot of youth deeply, and I think it's a very interesting thing that needs to be remembered. And I don't see a lot of people, talking about it in a way that will enshrine it in history, okay? We need to record this stuff, though, all right? Because people make jokes about how memes will be in like textbooks in the future. But it's true. I mean, it's true. Unless we all die in 20 years, unless there's like a huge, World War III, global warming, maybe we all die. I don't know. But unless there's some sort of giant apocalyptic event, textbooks are going to have memes in them. Textbooks are going to talk about TikTok. Okay? And so this stuff is important. So I do want to get out there that TikTok is not just it's not just weird dances, okay? There's stuff like this happening on TikTok. And I know if you're on TikTok, you know it's not just dances. And even if you're not on TikTok, you kind of know it's not just dances. But I don't think you really understand the if you're not on TikTok, I don't feel like you understand the society that has been created on there. And I hate to use the Joker word, but the society that has been created on TikTok is kind of crazy. There's just so many niches and subcultures and all these different things, and it's not just Charles D'Amelio, okay? It's others. It's not just Addison Rae, okay? It's not just I don't know if I can name another one. It's not just Lil Huddy, okay? It's how young people are living. Okay? So not all of them, but a lot of them. Okay? A lot of them. And in the future, this stuff is going to be super influential. I mean, in the future, one day, whether we like it or not, unless a giant apocalypse happens, Gen Zers are going to be, where in the position that like baby boomers are now, or Gen Xers are now, where they are going to be in control of the world. And, we'll have presidents, we'll have government officials that, grew up watching anime and scrolling through TikTok. So, it's a reality, and I think we need to, realize that. And corecore specifically is a very interesting trend to me, because while there are a lot of shitty videos out there that call themselves corecore, there are also a lot of videos that I've seen that are honestly have really affected me, honestly, that are profound to me. So, I just want to get this movement some recognition, okay? I want to get some recognition to corecore out there, okay? And so first I want to talk about, there's some articles out there about corecore. There's some discourse out there about corecore. There is some. Now, there's not much, but there is some. But I think it mostly focuses on a very specific kind of corecore video that is certainly the most popular, but it's not where it came from, and it's not all that it has to offer. And that is the sort of sad boy, Ryan Gosling, Blade Runner, Jake Gyllenhaal screaming, Aphex Twin in the background. Whatever. These videos are certainly the most well known, I think, corecore videos. And I don't know that for a fact, but to me it seems like these are the most well known ones. And I just want to say that these aren't these videos don't represent all of corecore. They don't, and I think corecore is hard. I mean, it's really hard to define. Honestly, I think it's almost just a name for these video collages, but they do have general themes to them. About modern life. I mean, and it might not even be a really well, but they all have this format of these clips, a series of clips put together, that are not always that are taken from a lot of times very different places. And they come together to tell some sort of a story, whether it be some sort of abstract story or whether it be, I'm sad. But that's a story too. And I mean, with so much depression, with rising depression in kids today, I think, that's that stuff is still valuable to remember. So I think what's really cool about corecore is that anybody can sort of upload one of these videos. And see what the hard part in defining it is that anyone can upload a video and put the hashtag corecore, and if it gets enough likes, it just is corecore. Like, there's nothing you can really, but at the same time, that's kind of beautiful. I mean, that's kind of like anyone can make one of these videos. And there are common themes. Again, there are common themes. Usually about just the modern world. I think is a very common theme in corecore, and I think I've seen some people argue that there's like a correct way, that there's a correct corecore, and that the Jake Gyllenhaal corecores are wrong, or that some people who kind of get kind of creative with the format, that's not really corecore. I've seen videos like this that push against it, but I just want to describe it. Okay? I just want to describe corecore. I don't want to say what it should be. But I understand, you see the clip of the chicken in VR for the 10 millionth time. You see interlinked for the 300,000th time. I understand being upset. Because trends like on TikTok especially can get very repetitive, but corecore has stuck around. It has. I still see them on my feed, and I started getting them on my feed in 2021 or something, 2022. Sorry, it didn't really start until 2022. 2021. I was ahead of the curve. Okay. So, to me, and this is my official statement, corecore is a wide array of videos. Maybe it's more of a medium, connected by the use of video collage and music. I think the music that's used in these videos is very important too, because it is TikTok. And modern internet culture. I think these are all very influenced by modern internet culture and just modern culture. Some videos are deeper. They have some sort of oomph. and some of them are more fun, so like there are more like memey corecore videos out there. Some are just like super abstract and stuff, but it's all about modern life and social media, and even if that's what influences all of these videos. And so I want to get into a little bit of the history of corecore here, because I think it's really important to understand when going into this, because I think a lot of people don't know, because the history of corecore to you is just when it showed up on your feed first, and so I want to talk a little bit, give a little bit of a history lesson, because I think we need more internet history lessons. So the history of corecore, is not well documented, so I think we need to get on that. Okay. Now, I talk about how everyone's experience of it is going to be when they first saw a corecore video. That's what you're going to see as first. But I'm saying that my experience of what corecore is also going to be biased towards my experience of what I saw first. So, take that in mind as I continue to talk about it. But, because this history is not super well documented, I might have kind of a bit of an inaccurate idea of this, but I'm going to try, okay? For those future people, okay? Who what am I, a fucking owl? Okay, let's continue. I was first introduced to corecore through the TikTok creator, and I think this creator is kind of at the start of at the nexus. God, is that the right term? The birth, okay? The birth of corecore. This TikTok creator by the name of High Inquiries, in around March 2022, I saw a video of theirs, which used a collection of different clips from different sources to paint this picture of modern society. It had movie clips, it was there was Elon Musk, Putin, a vacuum commercial, TikTok about growing your community. Al Pacino was in there. Everything was in there. Okay, it had everything. This place has everything. Okay, so like that is corecore. Just that description, all those random ass videos, vacuum commercial next to like Vladimir Putin, and like this like somber music playing in the background, not next to, but like cut together, like that's corecore. Like somber music playing, so we show Elon Musk purchasing Twitter and Vladimir Putin declaring war on Ukraine or something, and I don't know if that was particularly in the video, but we see, and then some like random ass TikTok about here's how to grow your community. But when this video was created, that name, there was no hashtag corecore on that video. Okay, that hashtag, that name, that trend didn't exist yet. So this is kind of pre-corecore. Okay, this is the pre-corecore era. There were these videos out there that kind of were about, and they were generally about. They had more political messages. There was some about global warming and climate change, and like war and this type of stuff. They a lot of times had this sort of political message. So I mean, I found that's, to me, corecore kind of developed into all these different directions. Um, but it started as this sort of very politically inspired thing, but still this like kind of abstract art sort of. It still was very like abstract too. That concept that is kind of also not necessarily a lot of corecore videos I see more recently are actually more or less abstract. Sorry, less abstract, which I wouldn't really expect. Um, you would expect, to me, I would expect as it develops something like this, as it develops to get more abstract. But in some ways, it has gotten less abstract. Um, Obviously, the fact that the message or this particular specific sort of political angle has kind of gotten lost. Um, that was to me expected. I mean, as this trend gets bigger, more and more people are using this sort of medium to tell different, and that's the thing. They're kind of why it's almost a medium, because people are kind of using this medium of corecore, this trend to tell a lot of different stories. Um, so I think the video, like High Inquiries videos, really set the groundwork for the trend of corecore. I mean, it had these elements of that like somber music again, the sort of sometimes seemingly random clips thrown in there, movie scenes particularly, something that became very common, and we're already there, and there was even someone screaming in that High Inquiries video that I saw, like that's corecore. Um, but that video was not labeled corecore. Like that trend didn't exist yet. So I think that was like kind of the start. Um, and I don't know if that particular like creator got that idea from somewhere else. I think there was another video that he may have been inspired by. I don't know. Uh, but basically, we started to see more of these videos being made in this style, not necessarily by High Inquiries, but clearly inspired by his videos, or her, or them. I don't actually know High Inquiries, but clearly inspired by High Inquiries, but so like in that same vein of what I was just describing, in 2022 started to spread, and most videos still had these messages about like the failings of modern society, right, and dissatisfaction with the current system, but there's still usually this hope. Sorry about your ears. There's still usually this hope for the future in there, but also they're very somber videos, which leads into the eventual sort of over time. Certain creators seem to lose any semblance of hope when making corecore videos, but we'll get into that. But a lot of them involve political and social issues at the time. Um, And most of them did. At least from what I remember. And as it evolved, though, as we start evolving, as we start abstracting, oh no, corecore starts to become not just specifically about political and social issues, but more so broadened to be about the internet and depression. There was a lot of depression, and that's where we start to get into. That's where I want to start talking about the nihilism core, and these more about these Ryan Gosling videos, and this sort of like male sadness stuff videos that we start seeing. So, at the time, and to get into a little bit of background, here, at the time of this, there was also this at the time of this corecores rising and developing a name. Okay, because it didn't have a name, right? Developing this name, developing this identity of what a corecore video is. At that time, there's also this other trend going on that is also kind of still going on. Another persistent trend called the reel slideshows. Okay. Now, reel. Do I have to get into what reel means? If you're watching... Oh, God. Did you hear me burp? If you're watching this video and you willingly click... you probably already know what the word reel means in sort of niche meme culture. Sorry. I sound like a Redditor. But if you're watching this video, you probably already know what reel means, but I'll still explain it. Okay, I'll still explain it for you. Reel. Oh God, wait. How do I explain reel? Basically, when people relate to something, okay, it's basically a way of saying, like, when people relate heavy to a video, all right, they'll comment under it, real, right? Because it's real. It's just so real. It's just like, this is like this. My life be like this, you know. It's just real. I don't even know how to. It's just real. So when people see a video that is relatable to them, yeah. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. They'll usually say, like, they'll comment like real. Just the word real. That became a trend. And it also kind of means other things in other circumstances, but we don't need to get into that right now. Like, you can also say it if a video is clearly not. If clearly, like, misinformation or made up. You can write the word real, and those always get me. I'm going to be honest. Those always get me. It's just a video that's totally ridiculous, and someone just writes, "Is this true?" I'm a simple person. But basically, real kind of became this thing that was used, or this term that was used by this sort of niche community online of, like, depressed young men. Whenever they see a video that they relate to, they'll comment real, right? And then so that became so persistent that eventually became a term to describe the community in a way. And also what was very prevalent in this community is slideshows of, like, depressing memes, basically. So real slideshows are basically, because also at this time, TikTok introduced a slideshow feature where you could share a series of images. there's a lot going on, okay? There's a lot going on just in the TikTok sphere at this time, okay? And they really promoted these slideshows because it was a new feature. So they promoted it in the For You page because they can just promote whatever the fuck they want because they have one page that everyone looks at. But anyway, so we started to see these slideshows of like depressing images that became very popular, and a lot of people started to call those the real slideshows. So that's what I'm calling them. And so this trend of, and so it's not really, I didn't really even need to describe that. That was actually kind of a waste of time, but it gives you some insight, it gives you an example, because really what I'm trying to get at here is that there's this niche community online, specifically on TikTok with young men, of depressed young men, there is this very large, very substantial community online of depressed young men. Depressed, usually like teenagers or young men. I just fucking said that. But teens included too, okay? Are teens included in young men? I don't. Does that imply teenagers in it too? Whatever. So this community is actually very large. No, but it is a sorry, that sounded dumb. But it is surprising that this community is so large of like depressed teens, and TikTok promotes it, right? They promote, I mean, they don't, they promote niche communities. They promote these very specific interests that people can get sucked into for hours. And being depressed is something that you can get sucked into for hours. And that's kind of something we need to address. The fact that TikTok will suck you into a depression hole sometimes if you feel that way, and if you like videos, and you don't even have to like them, right? You just have to engage with them. It's about the engagement. I mean, they look at so much. They look at how long you're looking at a video, and if you pause it, and if you look at the comments, like they track all of that. So, but that's for another video. So it's funny. Because then these that's not funny. But what I'm gonna get into is well, none of it's really funny. Or is it? So anyway, this community of like depressed young men somehow, well, I mean, it makes sense that they crossed over with this, and I don't know exactly how, right? I'm sure, because it's hard to record this history, but somehow, they started getting these videos on their feed of these sort of, I mean, probably because they present this sort of, what a lot of these videos presented was this sort of depressing dissatisfaction with the political system and with political and social issues, and like look at the state of things, right? Is what a lot of these videos was a theme of a lot of these videos early on in the corecore trend. And so what really blew up corecore and established the name corecore as the main name was these real slideshow people, okay? These young men seeing those videos and using that format to make videos that were more about being depressed, about the state of the world, less about specific political issues and social issues, and more about just like personally being depressed and fed up with the state of the world and the state of their own life. That seemed to become more of the theme, and we started to see, funnily enough, a lot of oversaturation in this sort of medium that criticized oversaturation by including all these different clips from everywhere. Funnily enough, it kind of got oversaturated itself because we started to see this trend get huge because that community is so huge, that a lot of people were copying clips, right? And corecore has always had, clips being reused, but clips started to get really, people started to really copy and reuse the same clips over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, you could see that with, like, there's so many clips of Blade Runner, Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner, and the interlinked the clip of him, the clip from that movie where I don't, it's hard to describe it, but interlinked. You can go look that up if you want, the interlinked clip. And Chicken in VR, that was a one I saw a lot, even though it's not from a movie. And Jake Gyllenhaal screaming. There's a particular scene, I don't know what movie it's from, where he's going off. Go off, sis. But these clips are to be reused over and over and over again, and the sort of any semblance of hope in these videos became very lost, and they started to become more so nihilism core, I would call it, where it started to become less of like, look at how bad these political systems are, look at how bad these social issues are, and more so life sucks, more so just nihilistic sort of life is awful, life is meaningless, life is awful. And that became a very common theme. And at that point, personally, when I was watching these videos, because I saw a lot of these videos, and there were some good ones still at that time, I don't want to say that there were no good ones, but I started to become very tired with corecore, and I started to be like, I just didn't want to see it anymore in my feed. I was like, it just depressed me every time. It's just like, I didn't personally agree with that message, of that sort of hopeless message that a lot of these videos were presenting, and it also, it just, it's depressing to watch these videos, to watch some of those videos. And I think that was like the height of its popularity, but it was also a particularly low point to me for corecore, because it really leaned in to this whole theme that we're seeing of things like depression being used to suck people down rabbit holes. And it's all created by us. These companies just facilitate it, right? And it's so strange. It's so strange how we are almost manipulated into depressing ourselves by these corporations who don't even necessarily want to depress us. They just want to keep us watching, and being depressed keeps us watching. It's crazy. It's a wild world. It's a wild world we live in, and that's kind of what these videos are saying too. So give them credit where credit is due. It definitely is a wild world. Wild world. I sound like a Gen Xer. We need to start making that an insult. That would be so hard to make into an insult. Boomer is very easy. But how do you insult a Gen Xer? You Xer. You gosh darn Xer. That doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it? I don't know. That's way off topic. Okay. So, it was a dark time, literally. Videos were very dark. And this sort of developed and this is when these articles start to be made about corecore, and really it breaches into the mainstream in a lot of ways, despite the label of niche talk. It becomes very mainstream. There's these videos, these have millions of likes. So that was a particularly but I don't want to call it a dark era. It's because it's kind of like calling the Middle Ages the Dark Ages, It's like there was a lot of great stuff happening too. It's just that it was so popular. There were so many videos being made that there was tons of bad videos. There was like 10 bad videos for every good one. But there were still a lot of good videos being made then. There was a lot of videos that had more nuance, sort of, and it's weird because it's all in the videos you include and the music and the choices that you make. But there was a lot of videos that used unique clips that I'd never seen before, that were told an interesting point. There were videos about there's one video I particularly like that was about like love. There was these videos about sort of complex concepts, and there were even videos about like the state of things that presented a more nuanced sort of message than just be sad. There was and even video. A video that's about sadness isn't bad. Isn't necessarily bad. It's just when it starts to become this depression with no way out, sort of these almost very nihilistic sort of videos. That's what started to turn me off. But then we transition to a sort of revival, I feel like, in corecore, where we started to see this huge trend of these sort of depressing videos aimed at young, or made by young men, I would think, and aimed at young men. Sort of, they became hugely popular, and then they sort of fizzled out, like everything does. But the thing is that corecore stuck around. I still see corecore videos on my page. Corecore stuck around, and people had to figure out, what do we do next, right? Where do we go next with this? And there was a lot of different cool things. There was like, for example, the sort of trend. There started to become these trends within trends. Corecore became so big of a movement that there started to be these trends within trends. Like hopecore is a particular one. God, it sounds so ridiculous talking about it. But hopecore was, and it's funny that it's called hopecore because you can see how corecore became so associated with like nihilism and being sort of hopeless, that hopecore became an antonym to corecore. But there was this hopecore that sprung about. That was just, these a collection of hopeful videos. this sort of video collage of different hopeful videos, and that's when we start to see, right, and that's a whole conceptual. No longer is it just like random videos. Now we're getting this. No, these are just. And that's what we started to get with these sort of nihilism core videos. Is that it became there was no longer these random clips, random abstract. Here's a clip of a vacuum commercial. That kind of became lost, and in hopecore that's still lost. But I really like some of these hopecore videos that sort of present a more hopeful message, and some of them are very one note, but some of them very it shows that you can really you can tell any story with the corecore format. And it was a nice change of pace to the constant depressing videos. And there are also a bunch of meme videos too that I don't know if they would be included under. Well, were there corecore meme? I do feel like there were meme videos. There were more funny videos that those leaned more into the random sort of collage. Although I feel like, and I wonder if they're related, but generally meme videos I feel like weren't called corecore. They developed different names, and I don't know if they were spawned from corecore, if they started completely differently. Like we have like pink core, which was I like that trend of basically like it would be like edits of like video game highlight edits, like that sort of format, like CS:GO clips, like but the everything, or Fortnite. No, Fortnite is pink core, where that started, because that's a particular handle of a creator, I think. Like Fortnite clips, like sped up and like edited, and it's not about actually showing you the highlights of the gameplay. It's about the experience of this weird edit, and then they'll be like, is it like cats and stuff? Oh my god. And there's like other meme. There's this current meme trend, me after the lobotomy, that is very much this. But it's not really new. There's been this meme trend that's developed like alongside corecore that has been like just these like random meme videos and randomly collaged together again that don't quite make sense together, and they kind of lose their original meaning, where we're not laughing at the actual clip itself, but they gain this sort of new strange meaning in this collage of like, what the hell am I watching, But that's kind of the point. It's like, I don't know. That is very much that it feels like this critique of, or not even necessarily critique, but just commenting on modern internet culture and how the oversaturation of memes, specifically these meme videos, where there's just so many shitty memes. It just feels overwhelming. We have so much access to this content that it's not even exciting anymore to see these just a normal meme video to someone who's grown up with the internet and has consumed so much internet content, like a lot of kids today, it's not even exciting anymore to see just some normal ass meme video. We need this like overstimulating video that comments on videos itself to feel anything anymore. No, no, but that sort of commentary is funny to us because of the oversaturation we've experienced. And obviously, if you showed it to a Victorian child, they wouldn't really understand. That's another meme. That's but we don't need to get into that. Let's get back to corecore. I'm getting off topic. So, but I'm overanalyzing. Hence the name of the show. We also had more female creators of more women making corecore videos. Female creators sound like YouTube. We had more women making corecore videos. We had more because for a long time it felt like very male dominated, and still in some ways, like you'll see a lot of hopecore videos that are about sports, and to not saying that only men watch sports, but you know, a lot of these videos are, you can clearly see, are mostly men in the comments, mostly men watching these videos. But I think corecore is, can be bigger than that. I think it's a really interesting trend, and there are some good videos that have taken a different approach that's not so male dominated, but and the good videos, are nuanced, but there are also good videos about like I don't know what I'm trying to say. But basically, what I'm trying to say here is there was this revival. We saw this decline in these nihilism core videos. We saw a kind of this not really return to form, because it just became this just explosion of all these different mini trends and mini little, I have this idea for a corecore video that I want to make about family or mothers or something like that. And you had all these people making these different videos, and sometimes they would catch on in little mini trends, and like you had all of these, you just had this explosion of just like using this format developing from what it was with high inquiries to just being used by so many different people in so many different ways to express so many different ideas. And I still see that today, and that's what's so special about this trend. So if we look at the current state of things, and I think this takes us, those are the main big three eras I want to talk about, which was the beginning, then the Ryan Gosling era, and then the sort of revival. Well, not revival, but the aftermath of things, and then now we're kind of at a place where corecore's still around. I mean, but it's not as big, right? And also, I think more recently I have seen corecore kind of develop into not even it's kind of lost. And so this is very interesting, actually. When I was prepping for this video, or like doing research, I saw a lot, or corecore still very much felt like it was a lot of different things, but it was always a video collage, right? But I've started to see some videos that call themselves corecore that are not a video collage, right? Like I see there's this video of like God, what was it? Like, was it like like an Eminem billboard going on, and fuck, what's going on? There's like an Eminem billboard, and I don't know if there's like a protest going on in the front or some sort of serious event with like an Eminem billboard in the back. And it's just a video with like Aphex Twin or some song behind it. We can talk about the music too. Should we? Yeah, we can talk a little bit about the music too. But it'll be like, or it'll just be a clip, just like a particularly interesting clip. That I guess they still relates to these ideas of like modern life. But it will have like some music behind it, and it'll be like corecore. And people generally accept these videos as corecore. They're like, this is totally corecore. This feels like corecore to me. Like you'll see the comments being like, this is what corecore it really is. This is what corecore is all about. And it's like, what? It is? But it's getting at these themes that are present in a lot of corecore videos about like modern society and the kind of weirdness of it, right? And that's kind of what the original random clips and including of random like TikToks, grow your community, and the commercials and movie clips and all this stuff was kind of getting at was, look at how things are. This is weird, right? But it was more specific than that back then because you didn't have as many videos. But now you have any sort of weird, profound video is kind of corecore, and it's almost become like an adjective. Corecore. I also never talked about the name corecore, but corecore is a funny name because corecore, comes from the idea of labeling things as a core, which goes back so far in internet history. That I can't really get into that history. The history of the term, of using the label of core to describe, like, you had like, I don't know, it's a very Tumblr thing, I think, right? You had like, oh god, what's a good example? Cottage core, where it's like, just like, images of, you can have your little mood board of, ooh, this is my, or like, my little cottage and all the little things that would be in it, and like, core just describes like a particular aesthetic, right? Aesthetic, which is another internet word, to mean like a style, right? So core describes an aesthetic, but corecore is purposefully like meaningless and sort of like it's the core of cores. It's the what is the aesthetic? The aesthetic is itself, right? Um, it's kind of purposely obtuse. The name. Um, okay, where was I? Just this little capstone. I want to. Well, first I want to say that modern corecore is kind of a mash of so many different things. There's so many of these little trends, as I was saying, um, that I probably haven't seen everything. You know, there's so much out there now, and it's more of a like a way of expression than uh, a one specific idea. Um, that's why it's so cool. It's almost like it's this trend that. That's why I feel like it's more than a trend. But what I want to talk about is the music. There's just briefly before I end this, uh, the music is very interesting to me because I think I think it's something that's very important to these videos. Even though obviously the focus is on the clips, the music is very important too. Music is obviously hugely important on TikTok. Um, it's TikTok is built on these sounds, this musically idea that they sort of somehow adapted it into something that's actually extremely uh, catchy and useful and music. Music's actually music says a lot. Music expresses a lot of different things, a lot of different emotions, and TikTok has kind of used that to as an integral part of their platform. It's so connected to music because of the way it's set up. And because of how it basically stole its entire interface from Musically, which was an app literally based around songs, and most of the content on there was people lip syncing songs, which is still a common thing on TikTok. But the music of corecore is, most of it's sad, somber, but some of it's hopeful. It's a lot of it is instrumental because oftentimes the video has audio to it, so the songs have to be instrumental. And so there's a lot of interesting pieces that I've heard. Some obvious examples are the more somber, like Aphex Twin songs. Like you think of like a very common one is, I forget the name, but it's these like piano sort of very simple piano songs are very popular. There's this other one called Wyoming by Elijah Fox, is the creator of this audio of this song, and that is a song that I particularly love when I heard it. It's so simple. It's just this piano piece. There's so much emotion in it, and it works so well in these audios with, you can just kind of, it works particularly well. It's these kind of sad but also ambiguous songs that you can kind of place, kind of like Minecraft music fits very well into corecore. Kind of like Minecraft music, where you have these like ambient, sort of very soft, kind of somber a little bit, kind of melancholy, but not necessarily at the same time. Very versatile songs that can mean a lot of different emotions, but feel very profound. They evoke emotions, but they can be used in a lot of different ways, right? And yeah, that's almost the best way I can describe it is similar to Minecraft music, which uses a lot of more ambient, simplistic, sort of, in the sense that there's not a lot of different instruments. There's not a lot of. It's usually they're slower and softer, right? So, and all these things are there so we can hear the audio of the clips playing, so we can, so it doesn't overwhelm the actual videos, which are the main focus. But I think it's so important. I think these, and it's very interesting to me which songs have caught on. Like, I want to find the specific name of this song by Aphex Twin that's used so much in these audio, or in these corecore videos. It's called it's called QK, and I don't know how this is supposed to be said. I don't know if it's even supposed to be said out loud. QKTHR. QKTHR. That is like to me, the one I've seen the most in corecore videos. I don't know if it's the most common. Also, Wyoming, the song I was talking about, and golly, I don't know if I can think of, but there are other ones. And all these niche sounds, I mean, there are a lot of interesting niche sounds that have become super popular on TikTok. The world of music on TikTok is endlessly fascinating. But I think it's these simpler songs that a lot of times they're piano songs. A lot of times they're soft, simple, melancholy. That's what you hear the most. But I think a lot of these songs are very beautiful. A lot of these songs, I've added them to my playlist. Hate to say that TikTok, but I also don't. I hate this. I mean, I'll never admit to anyone that some of my music has come from TikTok, but I'm admitting it right now, I guess. But I'm not gonna readily admit that information. I'm not gonna be like, hey, guess where I get recommendations from, because they're gonna think that means that I like I don't know, every new dance trend song, which I don't. But there are these communities. TikTok is the new place for all these niche internet communities that have existed in the past, but now this is how kids are living. And kids are learning about the world through corecore. That's just one of the ways that kids today are learning about the world. And it's true, and we need to accept that. And we need to remember these things. All right, we need to remember the memes and the trends of today, because the world can be understood through history and through events that are occurring, past events, recent events. I think you need to look at the context of things. You need to look at the context of situations and what led us to where we are. And I think every little event is important. And that's why we need to remember history. Because history helps us know how we got here. How did we get here? You know, and in the future, we're going to be asking that question. How did we get here? And corecore is just one of the ways that we have got to where we are today. And that's why I want to talk about it. And that's why I want to remember it. Because I've seen a lot of videos that have, I know it sounds dumb, but this like spoke to me, that have made me feel intense emotions. And I think that's important. I don't think that it could be. I think the internet is becoming life. It's not just TikTok's not just dance videos. The internet's not just cat videos. People used to say the internet, oh, that's just for cat videos. But you make a joke like that today, and it doesn't quite make sense anymore. You just sound really out of touch. Which was kind of that was kind of the joke too back then. But it's not just cat videos anymore. It's a lot more. And it's history. It's important. And that's what I want to say here in this ramble video, which I think I will just upload as a ramble. Ramble. That's all I really want to say. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you for, there's a TED Talk, there's a really interesting corecore video that's based around this one TED Talk that I really like, which is weird. It's like it's just these like weird things that I never thought would be profound to me, that someone just edits in a way that it's like, damn, and I don't want to just write this off. This is something. This is something. I think art of all kinds is being made through, like, it's just on the internet nowadays. And we don't really need artists can find a, can gain a following just on the internet. They don't need to get into exhibits, have shows and exhibitions anymore. They can get 100K Instagram followers and make money, and they can advertise their Patreon account, and they can make more money than they would ever make as a struggling artist. So I think it's a really weird time for art. And it's a time where anyone can get famous and become big, and anyone can make art. Anyone can make something that gets a ton of likes, and then the next day they're forgotten. It's just a totally different landscape. There's no, imagine Pablo Picasso on Patreon. Like, it's just, imagine Monet advertising his art on Twitter, funneling to his OnlyFans. Sorry. Imagine Michelangelo selling or showing images of his X-rated sculptures on OnlyFans. Man. Imagine that. You don't have to be a man. Imagine it. Sorry, I don't know how to end things. But we're in a different space, is what I'm saying. We're in a different world now. But also we're not. Also, throughout history, events happen in order and they affect other events, and the context of history always matters. And the place we are depends on the place that we just were. And that's always going to be true. And we need to look at what the new generation of children, of kids, of teens, of young adults are doing. And we need to remember it, because the internet is not easy to remember. Things just kind of happen and they get lost forever, but they're somewhere out there. Know your meme is doing God's work. That's basically what I'm saying. I do appreciate Know Your Meme's investigative journalism. But at the end of the day, I just like corecore, and I wanted to make this video because despite all the shitty videos that I hate, and there are a lot of videos that I hate that are corecore videos. Like any video that uses the chicken VR. No, just kidding. But some of them, any video that's like feels copy pasted, and like they don't have a unique message themselves, and they're just trying to get, they're just trying to blow up. They're just trying to get likes, get their 15 seconds of fame, get their 60 seconds. But for every awful video, I don't know about for everyone, but there's a good video. For every few bad ones, there's a really good one that I love. And so I like the trend overall. And I hope it continues. And I hope it keeps evolving and changing and growing. And I hope we remember it. I hope people remember it. And I hope we enshrine it in our history books. Thanks for watching. If you made it till the end, you are amazing. You are incredible. You are stunning. I love you. Have a beautiful day. And don't forget to keep overanalyzing everything you see. Imagine a history book of all the trends and memes and different online trends. Imagine taking Intro to Memes 101. Memology. History 220. An introduction to meme culture in the 2000s. You know? History 340. Advanced meme analysis. That's the future. But if we're not careful, it won't be. We make our future, and we make endings to videos that don't ramble on forever. Oh, God. I just pulled the muscle in my neck.